Hello grammarians, this is Mai Saeed and today inshallah we're going to study the using of active and passive voice. Before we start, we need to make sure that we are accomplishing the following objectives. What are active and passive voice? The uses of active and passive voice. And by the end inshallah we're going to answer some exercises for further practice. Okay? Now, what are active and passive voice? Like people, active verbs can be active, like here, Billy kicks the ball, Josie plays the instrument. The active people, they are the doer of the action, not just the subject or what the sentence is talking about or whom. We're talking about the doer, the performer of the action. Verbs also can be passive, receivers, like Kim is bothered by a headache, Jim has been hurt by a friend. All of these are receivers, not just the subject. Okay, so the voice is the form of a verb, takes to show whether the subject of the verb performs the action, like here, the clown carries the balloons, or the subject receives the action, like here, the balloons are carried by the clown. Here, in the active voice, we focus on the performer, the doer of the action. Here, in this case, the clown. In the passive voice, we focus on the receiver, the action and the action itself. Like the balloons are carried. A verb in the active voice expresses an action done by its subject. And I need you here to focus on the word by. Okay? Now, let's move forward, find out. My little sister painted the picture. Now, I'm talking about what? I'm talking about my little sister. And what did she do? She painted the picture. So, my sister is subject and the active. So here I focus on the performer, by my sister. Now what about the passive voice? Here I focus on the action done to its subject, the receiver of the action. Like here the picture was painted by my little sister. Here I focus on the subject by picture, the receiver of the action. Okay? Let's move forward. The passive voice verb consists of verb to be and the past participle of the main verb. Like, I planted a tree, or the trees. The trees were planted by me. Or we can use helping verbs. Like, I have planted trees. Here, trees have been planted by me. I don't get it. Do you need extra explanation? Yes, let's move forward. Now I'm preparing my table. Alright, we said that the main form here is verb to be and the past participle of the main verb. That's my design rule. We need to focus here on verb to be. The verb to be in the passive tense is what? Yes, am, is, are. The verb to be in the past was and were. The verb to be in the past participle form or the perfect form, been. Okay? Now I'm going to use this rule with the following sentences. Like what? Let's take an example. I play football. In which voice it is? Yes, it's active. But now let's change it to the passive. What shall I do? I need to start with the receiver of the action, with the object here, and end with the performer. Like here, my subject the one I need to focus on is the receiver of the action here. Yes, this is football. The performer of the action is going to come in the objective form, or the objective case, like here, by. Yes, I. In the objective case, yes, me. What about the verb itself? What shall I do concerning the verb? We said that I need verb to be and the past participle of the main verb. What is the past participle of play? Yes, played. We add ed at the end. But what about verb to be? Here, ask yourself what tense it is. Yes, it's a present simple, right? So I need verb to be in the present simple. So am, is, or are. The football here takes which form of verb to be? Yes, football is. The football is played by me. Pretty simple, right? Yes. Okay, now let's take another exercise. She eats pizza. All right, now this is in the active voice. Let's shift it to the passive one. Again, what shall I do? You need to start with the receiver of the action and end with the performer of the action. Here in this case, pizza. Okay, by. She in the objective case, we're talking about her, yes. Now what about the verb itself? Let's focus. I need verb to be. The verb to be in the present tense. Am, is, or are. The pizza here, singular or plural? Singular. It takes singular s, is. And the past participle of the main verb. What is the past participle of eat? Eat, ate, eaten. Eat, ate, eaten. It is eaten. Do you get the idea? So far so good? Now let's move to another exercise. Another example here, it can be he come on, my mind goes blank. I ran out of ideas, of actions. He painted the wall. This is what? Active again. Now let's shift it to the passive. We need to take the receiver of the action and start the sentence with and end with the performer of the action. Here by him. The wall. Now let's focus on the verb. What shall I do? Which tense is the verb? It's in the past simple. So I need the verb to be in the past. What's the verb to be in the past? Was and where. So the wall here, singular or plural? Singular, singular s, was. The wall was. And the past participle of the main verb, it is the same. Painted. يبقى the wall was painted by him. Alright? Okay, let's say they have read the story. Hopefully it's true. Okay, this is active again. Let's shift it to the passive. Okay, as I told you, we start with the performer of the action. Here, in this case, the story. Okay, and end with the performer, or you can skip it. Let's focus on the verb here. Wow, this verb phrase, that's more than one. The same idea here we're going to apply. I need verb to be. The verb to be in the, yes, the present perfect form. Yes. يبقى here been. So what about the story? Story here is singular. What is the singular form of have? Has. And this is a helping verb. And the verb to be? After has, have, and had. Been, the past participle. And of course, the past participle of the main verb here. Read, read, read. Do you need extra examples? Okay. For example, we had drunk water. Again, this is active in the past perfect form. Now let's change to the passive. Start with the receiver of the action, here water. We, by us. Now let's focus on the verb itself. Had drunk. Had here moves as this. I need here verb to be before the past participle of the verb. After has, have, had, verb to be comes yes, been. And the past participle of the main verb as it is drunk. Pretty simple, right? You can apply the same rule of any of the given or the studied tenses. All right, let's move forward. A prepositional phrase. We told you a phrase, a group of words without a verb. Preposition, null, it means these group of words start with a preposition, and preposition answer me the questions of when, where, why, and so on. Now that begins with by, but here we're going to focus on the by. It answers me the question who did the action. Okay, follow the passive voice verb to tell who or what performs the action. Here the preposition by answer which question? Yes, who or what. Okay, like what? The cat has been treated. Okay, now who's here? That's passive voice, because here I have verb to be and past participle meaning verb. The cat here, that's the receiver of the action. So again, this is passive voice. Now who did it? Yes, by our vet. The vet is the performer of the action. Okay, now let's move to further to get further practice. All right, the first one, excellent work on the airport. He needs me to use done in the passive voice. Yes, there are too many possibilities that can be done here. Okay, like what? Which tense? It depends. Like here, excellent work was done. Mr. Yang, the certificates here awarded in the active voice. Do I need verb to be in the active voice? No. So I can use awarded in the past as it is. Those photos by Cody. By Cody here, again, this is the passive voice he asked me. Taken. But those photos, singular or plural, this is a plural form. If you're going to write the past simple, we're going to use was aware, where, aware, taken. Number 4. This new software, Clear Images. We need to ask you in the active voice. So created this new software. Yes, created Clear Images. Pretty simple. Nothing can be done with the active one. Add the ceremony, the mayor, the volunteers. Active voice, because the mayor here is the performer of the action. Yes, he honored the volunteers. Okay, there are too many possibilities in which tense you're going to write these sentences, but all in all, it's pretty simple to do. Active voice verbs emphasize the action and the performer of the action. Like here, lightning hit the tree. The performer is lightning. What did it do? It hit the tree. The passive voice emphasizes on the receiver of the action, like that tree was hit by the lightning. Now I'm looking at the tree, I'm focusing on the tree that is totally damaged because of lightning. But that tree was hit by lightning. Okay. Writers usually prefer the active voice. Why? Because it's more forceful and direct. Why we're studying active and passive voice? In the first place, you're going to write. Okay? You need it. And you need to focus on specific elements here. In this case, there is performer or the receiver. Writers prefer the active because we're talking about characters, doer of the actions. Like our goalie made 3 great saves. The crowd cheered wildly for him. Okay? For the passive voice, you can change the form but give the same meaning. It depends on what you want the reader's attention to be drawn at. Like their 3 great saves were made by our goalie, while cheering was done by the crowd. Look how my intonation or how my stress focuses or changes according to what I'm focusing on. Okay, the passive voice does have its place, though use the passive voice when you do not know who performed the action. Like for example, you came into your house and you found that someone has robbed your house. Okay, so do you know the doer of the action? No, I'm focusing on my stuff, my things. I don't know the performer. That's why I need to use the passive voice. Like in this case, the flowers were left on her doorstep early this morning. Do I know the performer? No. Maybe he's a secret admirer, but I don't know. It's still secret. Okay? Now, let's put it into practice. Our librarian has formed a book club. Come on, we need to do what? Yes, whether it's active or passive. And what does it emphasize? But then we're not just doing this, we're going to shift. Okay? Now, let's focus on the answer. Our librarian has formed a book club. So here we focus on the active voice, the doer of the action, our librarian. Okay? And her action of making something. Now, I need you to shift it to the passive. Can you? Yes, a book club. What about the book club? I need has as it is because book club is singular. Verb to be after has, have, had, yes comes been, and the past participle of the main verb formed. By our librarian. A book club has been formed by our librarian. Simple, right? But let's move to the next one. The printer has been repaired. The printer, sorry, has been repaired. Do I know the performer? No, but it's working. So this is the passive voice here. Focus on the printer and that it is fixed. Okay? I don't know who's the doer and I don't mind the doer. So if you're going to change it to the active voice, you don't know the doer, say someone. Well, what did he someone has? Yes. I don't need verb to be now. The past participle of the main verb, yes, repaired the printer. Okay? Simple, right? Let's move to the next one. The band is selling cans of mixed nuts. Okay, here I'm focusing on the band and their action of selling. I'm not focused. I don't focus on the rest. The roof was torn off by the high winds. The high winds, he has torn off the roof. Now let's do this. My sister, the parakeet. My sister fed the parakeet. Call possible answers. More than one answer can be done. Some books have been stolen from the library here, or have been stolen. That's in the passive voice. We don't know who did it. Marian has read that book 3 times. Okay, this is active voice. You may not like it, but a decision has been made. Do I know the doer? No, but I'm focusing on the decision. This is the end of the lesson, but here let's do some further exercises. Now, for each sentence, identify the bold face verb as active or passive. Then tell whether the sentence emphasizes the action or its performance or the receiver of the action. Okay? Now, take 5 minutes. I'll pause the video, come back to check the answers. Here, snow slowly drifted across the road. Yes, here I focus on the snow. It emphasizes on the action, on the performer. Here, the swelling on Kelly's arm was caused. Okay, now I focus on the receiver of the action. Kelly's arm, okay, was caused in the action. Now, was blown over, the passive one. Has set, يبقى focus on the performer of the action. Raymond. Okay, let's do this. Kenny's fans him on the victory. Oh yes, cheered for him. The science class, the nature center. Active voice. Visited. The Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. Passive voice, and remember that's in the past. Was, yes, written. The dogs, after the long exercise session, rested. They're very tired. Most of the food by Uncle Pablo. Passive voice. So remember, food here is singular or plural. Yes, it's singular, it's uncountable. So was prepared or is prepared. Okay, that's the end of today's lesson. Thank you for listening and see you inshallah in class.